All right, guys. So this fanfiction idea actually comes from the Patreon poll I had on a few days ago, and I want to thank everyone for voting on this one. As always, if you guys want to be part of future Patreon goals or Patreon polls, excuse me, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the first tier, and that'll allow you access to do so, as well as check out episode and movie reviews, as well as be part of Q&As that are here on YouTube. But other than that, let's get started. So this Viva Ed Vegas was the winner of this poll, and it's actually going to be a remake of a story I did not too long ago. All of them were Ed and Eddie centric. That was like the theme of it, and basically it was all like, because none of them are crossovers. They were meant to be like stories you would see in the show. So you had like there was one where it was called Taming of the Ed, where Eddie and Ed make a wager that Eddie and Double D make a wager that Double D can make Marie a member of society, or his version of a member of society, and it becomes like a romantic comedy. There's also Euro Ed, the Eds in Europe. And then there were Ed, which was a kind of a murder mystery, a parody of the story, and then there were fewer. And then there were none, excuse me. And in there, it's meant to be like a parody of that murder mystery story from Agatha Christie. And yeah, there's also Rock Ed Man, which is the Eds in space, or Euro Ed, the Eds in Europe. Yeah. Also, another one I might do this one in the future is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Ed, where basically Ed gets hyper fixates on old kung fu movies from the 70s, and Eddie gets the idea of making a whole kung fu movie around Ed. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get started with this story. So the story begins with the Eds barely escaping with their lives from the rest of the kids after another failed scam. Another scam goes horribly wrong, and they're all just kind of chilling in Eddie's room, and he's just like, "I'm sick of this. I am legit sick of every time we do hard-working scams, and it blows up in our face." And Double D's like, there's a thing I should say about the definition of insanity, but I feel like you'd miss the point. And he's just like, "We need to go somewhere where a good, honest scam can make a good, honest living." And Double D's just like, "There's no place like that." And Ed's just like, "And maybe it's Oz. Maybe if we just click our heels 3 times and wish to go home, we can go." And Eddie goes, I like where your head's in the right place, Lumpy, but I'll tell you where we're going to go. I say we go to Vegas." And Double D is just like, "Are you insane? Have you lost your damn mind? You want to go to Las Vegas? Even if we could, Eddie, which we shouldn't. You want to go to literally the place called City of Sin and lose whatever money we have in gambling and loan sharks, all of that?" And Double D's and Eddie's just like, "You're telling me it's the land of milk and honey?" And Double D's just like, "We can't go. Like, we have no way or transportation to get there." And Ed's like, "Yes, we do. The old van in the in the junkyard. We'll just fix that up and drive it." And Double D goes, "There's no way we can fix that." And he's like, "Come on, you've made giant styrofoam dinosaurs. How hard can making a cargo vroom go for you, Double D?" So the Eds go to the junkyard, and Double D still doesn't like this. He still hates this idea, but there's no convincing Eddie and Ed that this is not gonna work. So he just kind of acquiesces to the absolute insanity that's about to happen. But as he tries to get the car started, he's just like, "Yeah, this is beyond me, Eddie. This thing is so shot. I don't even think we could get this running in 3 months, let alone in a few days like you want it to." And Eddie's just like, "Don't tell me what you can't do, Sockhead. Tell me what you can do." And Double D's just like, I can't do anything. And I can tell you that I can't do anything. So, as they're arguing, they hear a voice. They just hear a voice go, "Yo, need some help?" And everyone they turn, and it's Marie. Marie's just kind of standing there on the edge, just kind of watching, and they're just like, "Canker!" And they all shut themselves inside the van. And Marie just knocks on the door, like, "Hey, I heard you guys were talking about going to Vegas." And Eddie's just like, "It's a trap. Don't go out there. We're gonna get bad touched bad." "I don't want bad touches, Eddie. I only want good touches from my mom." Put a pen in that, Lumpy. So eventually, like, Marie keeps knocking on it, and she's like, "I can just rip the thing open and get in there if you want, or we can talk." And Double D's just like, "This is strange. She's acting civil to us. Perhaps we should open negotiations." Double D, Eddie's like, "Good idea. Offer yourself as tribute." So Double D, like, tentatively, like, opens the door. He's just like, "Hi. What can I do for you, madam?" And Marie's like, "Yeah, I heard you guys were going to talk about going to Vegas, and you want to use this car?" And they're like, "Yes, but the transportation of this transportation vehicle is utterly useless." And she's like, "No, I think I got the right parts for it." And they're like, "Excuse me?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'll help you." And they're like, "What's in it for you? Smooches? Double D?" And she goes, "Partly." "What?" Double D's just like, "What?" And she goes, let's just say my sisters and I haven't been seeing eye to eye lately, and I need to get away from them. And what better way than you get to go to Vegas, especially Dreamboat over here. Eddie, I do not consent to this. Eddie's like, if you can get us to Vegas, I'm willing to make a deal with the devil. And he's like, "So what do you want?" And she goes, "Double D, and also just go with you." And they're like, "Okay, cool." So in a few days, Marie, with Double D's help, they get the car, they get the van working again. And they're just like, "Holy crap, this thing is up and running again. Let's head out to Vegas, boys." "Eddie, I have to use the bathroom." Right after Ed used the bathroom. So they drive from Peach Creek all the way to, because they're like, none of us can drive. But Marie's like, "I can." So Marie's just driving the car. And the Eds are just like, what Double D is like, it's the situation now sitting on him, because he's like, I didn't even leave a sticky note for my parents to find me. What madness and malady have you put me through, Eddie? And he's like, "I don't know what those words are, but I'm going to tell you we're going to make a lot of money." "Eddie, that's not going to happen. And you gave me to Marie Canker. What is wrong with you?" And Eddie's just like, "It's cool, Sockhead. You'll live through it." So as they're driving, like, Marie's just kind of like she's still the driver. She's like living off of like caffeine and energy drinks as they're making the drive from Peach Creek to Vegas, until eventually they do make it to Vegas. And here's the thing: every time they see like a sideshow or a roadside attraction, they have to keep Ed away from it, because his hyperfixation will delay them. So they have to like cover the windows to keep Ed from looking. Anyway, so once they reach Vegas, it's just a calamity of things. Because, like, Double D immediately goes, "We should stick together and stay as one cohesive unit so we don't get..." And they're gone. Ed and Eddie are just lost in the crowd. But however, Marie's, like, standing next to him and was like, "So, what do you want to do?" And he goes, "Go home and never see you again?" And she's like, "That's not on the table, sport." So, Ed is like, Double D is just like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And she goes, "You want to go see the Dome and laugh at Raiders fans?" "I don't know what a Raiders fan is, but we could go see the Dome." So they go see it, and like it's putting on a show and all of that. and it's like Double D and Marie are like just wow in awe of it. Meanwhile, Eddie has immediately hit the he has literally snuck in to one of the casinos and started doing slots. Like, he is just hitting slots. And, of course, this is Eddie we're talking about, so it's like, 7, lemon, damn it! So he's just hitting this left and right. And where's Ed, you might ask? Ed is at a buffet table eating everything. Just consuming everything in sight. And Eddie is, of course, losing just all of the, he's just in the red, and he didn't have money to begin with. That is until, like, a friendly neighborhood loan shark comes over and is like, hey, looks like you're having some problems there. And he's like, yeah? Do you want some, how about we pay for your next few slots? And he's like, oh, thanks, mister. This place isn't so bad. So Eddie gets a loan of they're like, so how much you want? He's like, I can ask for how much? $2,000 would be cool. Oh, high spender, huh? There you go. And just it's a roll of ones. A roll of hundreds. And Double D. And Eddie is just like, never have I known such joy until now. It's like holding my first child that I never wanted. It's beautiful. I think I might kiss it. And the loan shark's just like, you don't have a lot of money in where you're from, do you? He's like, no, but I hope to be like you someday, kind sir. So Eddie goes back to starts gambling left and right. Ed is just eating all, everything. And they're just, and at this point, the people at the buffet are just like, he's not stopping. So they have to, chase him out of the building with cops in tow. Meanwhile, Ed and Double D and Marie, they're just out having a grand old time where Double D's having my goodness, I'm actually having fun with Marie Canker. This is not natural. What malady has been put over me in this city? And Marie's just like, can you stop the big word talk for 5 minutes and just enjoy yourself? And they're just like, what is this? What kind of game are you playing, Marie? And she's like, I'm not playing any game. I'm just kind of enjoying my time with you because God knows I don't get it when I'm with you. I mean, when we're back at home. And he's like, yeah, because you basically manhandle me. And she's like, I play rough. What? You don't like it? And he's like, no, I don't like it. And I think you know I don't like it. Marie's just like, okay, I'll stop. And she's like, my sisters and I actually like you guys, right? We actually genuinely like you. And he's like, but what about that time with the reverse psychology crap? What? You guys didn't like us then and tried to run away from us. And she goes, yeah, because think about it, sockhead. 3 men pressuring themselves on women. Think on it for a second. And Double D's just like, oh dear. But it's not different from what you do. And just because of your gender, it doesn't make it right. And she's just like, yeah, you're right. And we should stop. But at the same time, we didn't exactly have the best role models in our lives. So this was kind of all we know. So how about this? How about we just have a nice time? You and me have a good time and see if we like hanging out with each other. And we'll see what happens when we go home. And maybe I'll be a little more gentler with you in the future. A little more? How about a lot more? Don't ask for miracles, sockhead. So they have turns out Double D, who thought he was going to have the worst time, is having the best time in Vegas. Meanwhile, Eddie and Ed are chased all across the city by loan sharks and cops who are trying to find Ed because he stiffed the bill. He didn't have any money and he just thought it was free food. So they're running high and low across the city until they find Double D and Marie, who are just at a restaurant, this fancy restaurant, and Marie's helping to pay for the food. And he's like, where do you get this money? And she goes, it's best you don't know. It's best you don't know that I know how to break into an ATM. And he goes, how do you know how to break into an ATM? And she goes, that's a question you don't want to answer. So eventually Eddie and Ed find them. He's like, Double D, this place is fucked. This place is awful. Let's go home. So they're like, Double D's just like, wow, your own hubris came up and bit you in the hind end again, didn't it, Eddie? So they get dragged back while trying to avoid loan sharks, cops, and just angry citizens who have essentially been caught in the middle of Eddie and Ed's hijinks across the city. Until eventually they just get chased out of Vegas and are just thrown high and low. Like if this was they'd have a whole chase montage. Like they get caught in the middle of like Eddie hides among a bunch of Elvis impersonators, dressing as one, even doing a song. There'd be a scene where like they get caught in the middle of a magic show with tigers, and Ed is just like, pet the kitty, pet the kitty. And the tiger's trying desperately to maul him. There'd also be a moment where one of the shows would be like they would go to another like rock concert of some musician who's just having permanent residence there, and just be like, you weren't even cool in the 90s. So it would just be a massive, just one big chase scene by the end of it. I wish I could do this as a full cartoon, but yeah. So there's even a moment where they like, and I'm gonna rip off a little bit of Simpsons here, where they run into a band. They're like, the Moody Blues. Like, how did I have it go? It's like, terrified Eddie runs for his life, while mono-browned Ed fights for nothing. Can the poems? It's ass-kicking time. Oh no! So they all get chased out of Vegas. And Eddie is just like, we are never going back. That place was bullshit. I hate it. And Double D is just kind of looking at Marie, who's just like, I don't know. It was kind of fun. It was nice. I would like to visit there someday. And Eddie's just like, what happened between you two? And Marie's just like, oh, I told him how much I loved him and he couldn't get away from me. And Ed is like, I did no such thing, woman. So eventually they all get back to Peach Creek, and they're just all like, well, this was awful. Let's never leave town again. And Double D's like, I don't know, maybe we could travel expands one's mind. Maybe we'll just go somewhere a little more your speed. And Ed is like, huh. Tokyo a go-go! So there you go, guys. That is Viva Ed Vegas. Yeah, I want to thank everyone for voting on this one over on Patreon. And you guys tell me in the comments below what you guys think of this. Comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.